minutes of October 31st and October 24th, 2022.
Second.
Oh, September 21st, 2022 also.
Okay. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to approve non-public meeting minutes September 21 and October 24th, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 2nd, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Do that to it, Michael.
No, just note that the December property tax bills will be due December 21st, so
Just in
good
time.
amount earlier than a couple prior
Merry
years.
Christmas.
Yes.
Yes, it is still around the holidays, unfortunately.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Public input? Bruce, Jane?
We're here to support Steve.
I had a question for Steve, Michael.
Do we have anybody
That's
online?
something I didn't understand, and
Josh is in charge of that now.
Oh,
What's the issue?
do we have anybody online who'd like to?
Not as of yet.
Okay, thank you, Josh.
No problem.
Jane, is your question having to do with the CIP?
yes,
Okay, Steve's gonna present that.
yeah, okay.
All right, hearing none. You have the floor, Mr. Biddle.
Thank you. I just want to dwell on the summary pages that begin, and the numbering is curious, I think, but it's the first schedule, which is the year-over-year analysis of the cash portion of the capital budget. And as you will recall, CIPC looks at the total capital budget on an economic basis, so it includes capital cash contributions to reserve funds plus annual debt service on our capital related town debt. The debt service portion in the current budget is basically unaltered from last year. Some items pushed out 1 year, notably the fire station. So that's not the focus. The cash side was the focus. And I'd like to point out that at the bottom of this first schedule, which is cash capital budget year over year, it shows a relatively modest 4.3% increase, which is wonderful and good. However, it is not the economic truth of what's going on. The receipt and application of grants, especially the ARP, the American Recovery Plan grants, have distorted the numbers materially. For instance, consider at the very top, DPW shows a $5,000 decrease. Actually, the increase is far greater. The decrease is really a numeric sort of, well, not an intentional sleight of hand, but town bridges were reduced by $70,000. That is solely due to a very nice grant that we got that basically has covered our bridge budget for the next 5 years in both covered and other bridges, which are the non-covered bridges. And that offsets pretty much an equal, or almost equal, $75,000 increase in town in DPW equipment, principally trucks. That is simply the cost of living and the high cost of dump trucks that we're encountering, and the difficulty to obtain them. I'm sorry, this $75,000 was due to road reconstruction, which is just the cost of the program that we have in place. No add-ons to it, same program, is just going to cost $75 more. That's offset by the bridge reduction. Equipment went up by 25,000, and that's offset by the covered bridges reduction. So we're taking one-time grants and applying them to operational items, which is not usually a good policy, but here are fortuitous policy for us. And it was the only place we could put it, as the grants were specifically earmarked for those items. So it is not all as rosy as it may seem. I hate to be the forebearer of bad news. Also, we received 2 other grant benefits, one-time grant benefit, where pretty much where the town portion of the Upper Wilson Pond Dam and the Christian Hill Bridge has been pretty much reduced or eliminated. So that took some pressure off it. All due to grants. Whether or not the federal government keeps putting out these grants, which I sincerely hope they do not, the printing press is getting a little tired. These are items that we'll have to cope with in the future. On the next page, I try to schedule this out and show the direct impact on the budget. First, I look at one-time grants from ARP. They're being used for the recycle center, a one-time, highly desirable rebuild that will, I think, be well received and well utilized by the town. And the other chunk is going to Richardson Park, for the troubles with trying to put in restroom facilities, which I view as pretty much a one-time, one-off item. So those were grants received, applied against special items, good use, and saving the town money that the town would have had to spend otherwise, or bond for. The other one-time charges, I show an offset of 95,000 for the receipt of the bridge grants. That's just year over year. The actual bridge grant, I believe, was 265.
Yes.
And that's being phased in over the years. So the 95 may seem smaller. Also, we at present have a $29,000 reduction in the Grange. So that gives us 124,000 one-time items year over year. If you take that back and add to that to the 4% number of 35,000, it comes out to a somewhat breathtaking 20% increase year over year. The message here is we don't need a lot of money added on to anything of a recurring nature if we can possibly avoid it. And that really is the sum and substance. We still have, as I like to say, known unknowns. We have the whole issue with the fire station, which is driving all sorts of other things, for instance, town hall, and this, that, and the other thing, and it's being buffeted by a number of possible changes, county ambulance, the possibility that Cutler School may free up, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, frankly. The school district's got to get through a $35 million bond issue.
That was 42 or 43.
Wishful thinking on my part, which is not going to go down well, but who knows? And these are issues driving the budget that are sort of beyond CIPC's control at this point. With that, I'll answer any specific questions you have, but there are 40-odd pages of this thing. And I've been through them enough times by myself. And says Michael. I think, well, any questions?
Jane, you have a question?
Yeah, I just would like to know why and how you justify a reduction of $29,000 on the Grange when we're trying to raise money for the Grange.
We had a debate about that. You know my feelings about that.
We didn't have a debate about a $29,000 reduction.
We had a debate about how much,
much.
we had a debate about how much we were going to put into it. The committee voted for $1,000.
You seconded my motion, remember?
I know, we voted for $1,000.
But the 30,000 was a one-time event last year.
Right.
And that's what threw this budget out of whack. So this year, you wanted to have some type of contribution, so I made the motion for $1,000. We cannot afford to do $30,000 a year.
No, but what happened to the 30 that was there? Still there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't take money out of this without spending it in
So you
operations.
you're figuring that we're giving it that much less than we gave it last year.
Correct.
But last year, we gave it 30 because it was a warrant article that passed. It didn't come out of the CIP committee.
It went into the CIP.
It went in. Right, okay, got it. I just wanted to understand it, Steve, that's all.
Well,
No offense intended.
I
just need
believe
to
we
know.
did explain that the 30 was there during the meeting.
Well, there were other things during the meeting that I did understand that I don't agree with either, such as the building has no architectural integrity, and it says right in the study that we paid for that it does. So I don't want to get back into that debate. I just wanted to understand the arrow on this page, and now I do. Thank you.
Anyone else? Bruce? Ken?
Would you be open to softening the blow on next year's CIP increase by bringing some of that forward to this year so that the 4.5% comes up a little, but the
No.
17.5% comes down a little bit next year? Just a thought, it would be going into the savings.
You know my feelings about playing with numbers. I think the numbers as they're shown are as they're shown. I understand what you're looking at, and it might be politically smart, but who knows where the budget's going to go.
And we might get some more grants or rescues.
Are you trying to put him over the edge?
No, I was just wondering, I know we thought about it, but I wanted to have
Well,
this
I think
conversation.
there are and will be grants for specific things. I think recycle can get some grants under ongoing programs, not like ARP. I think the fire department, when they get around to buying a fire truck or whatnot, can get some grants. But that's in the future. Other than that, they're going to be a little harder to come by. I think Michael can still work the sidewalk grants because that's an ongoing program. We just have to understand that this ARP grant was a one-time thing and a very large number. And we're using it for, I think the best possible use for it is recycling. I can't think of a town service that touches more people more frequently than the dump. But bluntly,
Are you trying to kill Josh if he watches the video?
Well-
The other Josh.
well, I think it's a worthy thing. All behind Josh. The recycle center.
Is the 650 in 2025 for DPW, is that anticipated improvement to that facility? We may have talked about it before, but I forgot.
It's close, but it's not final at this point.
But yes, that is what that number represents. It's not, it's a swag, it's based on no estimates or engineering, but yes,
But-
that's what, I mean, it would be a major facility.
But the feeling is, that's the number, that fits the project to the number, I would hope.
Yep.
And there are a few things there that can be cut back. The sanitary facilities at Richardson Park is just a bad dream, and we have to get past it. It's just one of those things that snowball, and wells and septic systems, and you name it. And fortunately, we had the one-time point to offset that. Otherwise, its cost is rivaling that of the Pentagon's toilet seat.
So with DPW, is there a concept in mind?
Oh, for DPW?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll just explain why I'm asking.
The concept is to add sort of another row of garages and upgrade the abysmal personnel facilities. The problem is, you got DPW stretched every way possible, and they just didn't have time to get to it. And that, in my mind, is understandable. You just can't get blood from a turnip there. And we had enough on our plate where we felt that it could be deferred out of it. And with any luck, on a bonding basis, we do that with town hall, which seems like a good plan, if we can ever get off the dime on the fire station.
So I share your enthusiasm for the sanitary facilities at DPW. I'm just wondering if,
Well, it's a necessary thing.
no, I know, but can anything be done sooner than that to improve those? Those have been delinquent for much longer. They're real, as you know, they're
It's a stinky situation, though.
literally. So I'm just wondering if it could be, move forward, move towards this, move forward a little bit, at least to take care of that aspect of the improvements.
On Richardson Park?
No, the DPW facility, just to,
We couldn't get a plan. And without a plan, our hands are tied.
But there is some money in the capital reserve already that
Yeah.
potentially could be used for a renovation. It could be a good winter project. They have, some handy folks over there, so.
I'm just wondering if it could be done without compromising the overall project in 2025. Just to, in other words, if they're gonna stay where they are roughly, then.
What I thought was a neat plan at one point to buy a manufactured housing thing for their facilities, put it basically on a pad or a skid there, and then build around that. And it had an added benefit that if they did that, they could cut way back on their heating, because they could keep the garage, the whole thing at garage temperature, not human temperatures. I thought that was a nifty idea, and at the time it was only like 40,000, 50,000. Frankly, we didn't push that. Maybe we should have. And I don't know how much you've got to schedule it. How much is in DPW?
Probably had 70 or 80,000.
Yeah, there's enough for it. And Don Skiba did that, and he had drawings of it, and very good work was done on it. We were trying to apply the same concept to recycling. And it was something even, I believe, somewhat locally manufactured. And, we ain't talking rocket science. There was some discussion about septic facilities and stuff, but to my knowledge, and gosh, this goes back 5 years, we worked around that. And It seemed like a neat plan. And then there was some scheme, oh, well, they could use the other building down on
120 Pine Street, yeah.
125. I never thought it was a really terribly viable idea. But the idea, especially with heating's going right now, putting it up and then letting the shed see if whatever the tolerable temperature is for trucks. Seems like a good plan. And we have the money. I would be the back of it.
Maybe we could take a look at that. Is that alcove area where the septic is?
The natural expansion location.
That would be, but I believe Don worked around. But we should go back to his work first.
Sure. Is it in the Chesterfield archives?
What's that?
Is it in the Chesterfield archive?
Probably, he probably still has it somewhere, yeah.
Bruce, did you have a question?
I just was gonna comment that one thing that I've been disappointed with is the recycling center is, I really thought that should have been done like 2 years ago. And it just keeps getting pushed back. We've discussed it in the meeting, but I was all under the impression that thing was gonna move forward and be all done by now, but it hasn't materialized, so.
Like a year of extractors.
Yeah, but it just, and so that's kind of pushed back the DPW situation over there.
I think everybody wants to do it, but permits now, right?
Well, yeah,
Waiting on them.
I'll take-
I'm just saying, I was
this swing
disappointed.
again, but I mean, it was something where we just internally realized later than we should have, that we really should have done some look at stormwater, because we're increasing and changing our impervious surface a lot, and it's near the river. So it was something we came up with later, and yeah, definitely got delayed. My fault. We'll
Is
get
there
done
an
next
issue
year.
with the steel also?
What's
Is there
that?
an issue with the steel? Or no?
I don't know. I think that will
Well,
be,
Mike
could
said
be,
something
yeah, I
about
think
that.
you're right.
We have a
We
source.
have the money, we wanna go, but
Yeah.
it's just taking long.
Are we moving forward with the drainage?
Absolutely, yeah. Chad Brandon Fieldstone is under contract.
You indicated he was out there.
Yeah, I got a note to follow up with him tomorrow to check in. I think he was looking mid-November, so I think we should be in good shape to get that out to bid shortly.
Is that bidding the whole project or pieces of it?
Once he's completed with that, we can then bid the whole project.
Great.
That's my understanding.
I'll get there.
Also,
Anything else? Anybody else? Well, thank you all for your work. Appreciate it. It's helpful to have a guidebook.
Thank you.
Good job.
Always a pleasure.
Thank Don.
Yeah, Don.
West Swanzey AA Park improvements.
Yes, so we've got all our permits in place for that project, so we're looking to hopefully get started on it shortly. DPW Director DeRusso and I feel the best way to get it going, so we don't run into some of these challenges with trying to bid a whole project, which give you scheduling and also cost challenges for the town to serve as the general contractor. The first step, which is obviously somewhat weather dependent, is to pour the concrete pad for the pavilion. So Joe has an estimate on that. The contractor's time is estimated at $5,000, and the concrete is estimated at $2,750. That's BC Construction, I think, or Bill's Concrete Construction, that's BC, right?
Yeah.
So maybe round it up to 10, but he's hoping to get that done in the next week or 2 weeks, so they can get that in before it gets,
Are they doing the site work, DPW?
yes, I believe so.
They're doing the forms, or is Bill doing his own forms?
I did not ask them.
But it can be done in the next couple of weeks.
Right.
Where is the pad going to be?
So I think I failed to insert this, I left it on the printer when I emailed it out, but you got it.
We got it.
Here.
Okay, now it's not going to be a rectangle.
It was 20 by 20, so we have on the plan.
because that looks more like a square.
Yes. This is one that we applied for the grant like 4 years ago, so the budget will definitely be tight, so.
All right,
What page is it?
47. And 46 is the estimate, in the email from Joe.
oh, okay, good.
Actually, it might say here about what you were asking, Bill. I said it might say on here either 45 or 46, that's the quote, may answer what you were asking.
So we need a motion.
Yes, that'd be great.
For 10?
Yeah, so it'd be half funded from the recreational facilities capital reserve fund, half funded from the land water conservation grant fund.
I'll make the motion.
So half from each,
Yes.
5 and 5,
Yep.
okay.
I'll second that.
What's that, Beverly?
Yes, I got it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We'll be back in a week or two for the lumber and that stuff, but this was the immediate need, so.
Still looking at around 70 for the overall.
It was 80, was it 80? 93 was the total estimate, 93, 820. So, yes,
For the pavilion?
pavilion, parking lot,
Oh.
basketball court, steps,
All right,
or at least as close to all that as we can.
the pavilion shouldn't cost that much.
No, I think the estimate the school had provided for theirs was 45, and we're hoping to do it more cost effectively, right, by using local talent.
Do we have anything on the road business?
Well, kind of couple of just miscellaneous, talked about sidewalk grants, and we got, word from the Monadnock Alliance for Sustainable Transportation, heard back on our next phase of the Swanzey Center improvement project, and we were the only applicant, which means we got more than we asked for, which is good. Initially, they were gonna have a caveat that this would be the last contribution towards that project, since this would be their third. But I think Sarah persuaded them to take out that caveat, so we're hoping to still obviously get as far as we can, but, so, yeah, so we keep going for the grants, like I said, we were the only applicant, so keep taking that money to keep expanding the sidewalk system and get closer to that
Market
bridge.
basket before too long.
That's right, we're getting there,
Don't be afraid to go south a little bit.
that's the next phase.
Oh, okay.
And then we also heard back just today from the Southwestern Regional Planning Commission's Transportation Committee that our proposed project for Route 10 improvements was the top project recommended, so that's gonna be going into the 10-year transportation plan, which 10 years sounds like a long time away, but once you gotta get it in those programs, and then if we get some of these other funding sources that they tend to backfill projects that are already in the plan, so hopefully we can do it before 10 years. Yeah. And then just an FYI, the transfer station had to close a little bit early today. They have an issue with their lighting. They went to kind of turn on some of the floodlights and they had some challenges, so hopefully Hamlet's gonna get over there tomorrow, get that resolved.
He was so confident a couple of weeks ago. What about the application for the water company grant?
I actually just spoke to Mr. Dryer about that today, coincidentally, and yep, working on that. It's due a month from today, December 9th, and he expects to have a draft for us to review in a week or two.
So we'll meet the timeframe.
Absolutely.
Anybody have anything else?
Can you just go over what you were talking about, that water company deal? What's that all about?
It's related to the West Swansea Water Company. It would be like a feasibility study to reassess it with engineers, yeah.
Good.
To complement the work previously done by the Water Study Committee.
Infrastructure.
And look at the fees, yeah, infrastructure and a business case analysis to make sure there's sufficient customers and revenue to support it. No commitments.
Town person, okay.
We would be exploring options, which could be a town purchase, could be no action, could be a village district. So no clear path decided yet.
Further
Further
come
exploration.
together relatively quickly. I remember correctly, once
That's
we make a decision.
right, yes, correct.
Anybody else? Sly?
We're
Do
all
we
set.
have any non-publics?
Yes, one for hiring.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you, Josh.
Are we finished?
We're gonna make a motion to go into non-public and then we can, yeah.
I make the motion, we go in under A,
B,
B.
for hiring of a public employee. Second.
Record.